Jersey!
And as you can tell, it's a new era. I'm talking about Wrestlemania 29. And this show, I actually knew somebody that went to this show that I went to high school with. Was I jealous? Well, I actually got it on the pay-per-view, and it was a pretty good show. Just kind of, well, I'll get into why there should have been a lot more changes. There should have been things that were different, but all in all, is it the worst show? Well, it's not WrestleMania 9 bad, but we'll see. Here we go. This match versus The Miz, Intercontinental Championship, and I made my bones before. Big main event titles on WWE, Intercontinental, WWE, or Tag Team Championships. And this one, I actually forgot was on a pre-show, but this was good. Mike Barrett came out as the Intercontinental Champion, and Miz won. So this is one of his reigns. I don't know if this was his first reign. I can't necessarily remember, but yeah, this was a good match. From what I can remember, I don't remember too much, but yeah, Miz won. A six-man tag, The Shield versus Big Show, Randy Orton, and Sheamus. And it was one of those, can they coexist rather, and it was a good match. And I mean, this was the first time you would see Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, or Seth Rollins at a WrestleMania, so they were actually really, really good and ended up getting the win. And then afterwards, Sheamus, Orton, and Big Show fighting, and basically Big Show punches them out and leaves. So it's almost like, well, I guess we know the answer. And it was like one of Paul White's many face heel turns. 2012 was weird. Ryback versus Mark Henry. And yeah, this was fun. It was fun because I got to see these two guys really go at it. Mark was the heavier of the two, but Ryback had the muscle. And, I think Ryback tried to pick up Mark Henry for the shell shock, and yeah, that didn't work out too well. But Mark Henry ended up obviously getting the win, World's Strongest Slam. And, I think Mark Henry being that guy who's still relevant, even if it's in All Elite Wrestling, it's still very cool to see him still going. Same with Paul White. I think that's cool that they kind of built their bodies differently, and now Mark's not wrestling right now, but we'll see what happens in the future. And Ryback is on Instagram doing his thing, and yes, I'm following him, but could he have had a better run? Fuck yeah, I think that would have been a very smart choice. It's just, I don't know what happened. He was pretty clumsy, but, and also too, think about the fact that comparing him to Goldberg to a point where he started wearing the black trunks and the black knee pads, and I think the elbow pads, but I mean, yeah, he's in another company now, so it's a shame, but Tag Team Championships. You've got Daniel Bryan and Kane, Team Hell No versus Biggie Langston and Dolph Ziggler with AJ Lee And let's see here. Nope, that's it. And I've been wanting to make this rant for a very long time, so what the hell. Because it pissed me off then, and it still pisses me off to this day. Because you had to have WrestleMania 29 at the Met Center, which was, I guess, the border of New Jersey, New York. So right away, I think, okay, well, I guess WrestleMania 30 is not, WrestleMania 30 is not going to be at Madison Square Garden, like 10 or 20 or even 1. So that got squashed. Okay, fine. April Jeanette Mendez is from Union City, New Jersey. He did a documentary style thing where you have her going into her old stomping ground. You have the I'm Coming Home song. And you book her this. You have her manage Becky and Dolph Ziggler. Nothing to take away from those two. But you could have had her at least in one match. In fact, I think they were supposed to have a match with the Bellas and whoever it was. Again, I don't think it was Funkadactyls and Brodus Clay and Big Albert or whatever. Yeah. And that didn't happen. And I don't understand why. Because you have this thing with Phil and you wanted to knock him because he wasn't your typical wrestler, if you will. I'm not doing this right, but I don't care because AJ deserved better. And I don't know why she couldn't have a match at WrestleMania 29. I really don't. And on top of that, Team Hell No retained the tag team titles. So what a fucking payoff to this documentary series during the Raw, SmackDown shows. And I was like, really? And again, nothing to take away from Team Hell No. That was actually very entertaining, but I just don't get it. And like I said before, you know, Big E and Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee reminded me of the modern day Sherry, Zeus, and Macho Man. Fandango versus Chris Jericho. There's a story where Chris Jericho actually pitched the idea that Fandango would win and he would put him over, which I guess it worked. I think Fandango, see, Johnny Curtis is a great wrestler, a good wrestler, not great, I keep saying that. But you bring him in as this ballroom dancer, and he had the thing with Summer Rae and everything, but I can't remember. I don't think he ever had a championship in WWE, except for when he teamed with Tyler Breeze. So it was almost like a wasted opportunity there, but this was a good match. And I think Chris Jericho, the veteran that he was, really put on a hell of a show. But yeah, Fandango won with the flying leg drop, and you know, they had a match at Backlash, I believe. I'm not sure how many matches after that, but you know, just one of those things where it was like, yeah, I think you have to put over people at a certain time because he just debuted. Like, he was in NXT as Johnny Curtis. That's not his real name, as I thought, but coming in as Fandango, you've got Summer Rae, you've got Layla, which I don't know where she is. I really liked her, but this was a good match. And yeah, I wish Fandango would have went more and had a proper run, at least as the Intercontinental Champion. We've got the World Heavyweight Championship. We've got Alberto Del Rio, who defeated Jack Swagger. Of course, Zeb Coulter, Dirty Dutch Pintel was in his corner. Got Rico in Alberto's corner. This was a good match, and I mean, yeah, Alberto won by submission, and yeah, they had a good feud. It wasn't the greatest. I remember watching it, and the first time I saw it at WrestleMania, where you have one wrestler already in the ring. Well, I guess that's not true. You had Adam Bomb at WrestleMania 10, but yeah, this was a good match, and Alberto had won by submission, keeping the title. So he had a good run with it. If he would have kept his nose clean or whatever, that would have been great, and he would have still be in the business. I'm not sure where he is right now, but I think who defeated CM Punk. And again, this was kind of a missed opportunity. You would have had CM Punk as this kind of champion right here, but he had to have the spinner belt. You have him have the match at Royal Rumble. He gets defeated by The Rock, and then The Rock reveals this title. There was no fucking way that you shouldn't have had CM Punk not have this title. But it was once again a fuck you to Phil Brooks. At the time I was pissed, but I completely understand why. I do and I don't. There was a lot of pros and cons to this whole thing. Obviously, firing him on his wedding day with April was the shits and should never have happened, and Vince agreed and feels somewhat bad, so. And so you have this match with CM Punk and The Undertaker, and this was right around where Bill Moody passed away. And yeah, this was, I'm sure that Paul Heyman and Phil had spoken to the Mooney family, and I heard they did. Was there these vignettes that they cut with the urn and pretending to have the ashes and all that shit, but if they didn't get the okay, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do it. So you have Living Color play CM Punk to the ring, which I haven't seen perform live. I'm not really a huge fan, except I do like that song. And so that happens. By the way, the lead singer was fucking short, but this match was cool, and there was a point, the epic point, where you have CM Punk put Undertaker in the Anaconda Vice, and Taker sets up, and they have a stare down. But yeah, you have Undertaker take the tombstone. They put on an epic match, but Undertaker obviously got the win, 21-0, and we all know what happens from there. So yeah, and shortly afterwards, Phil leaves, and we obviously don't hear from him again in the wrestling world, at least until 2 years later, or a year later, whenever the fuck it was. Yeah, it was a year later. Versus Brock Lesnar in a no holds barred match, and if Triple H lost, he would have been forced to retire. So yeah, this was good. And I mean, the lead up to this too, they had a match at SummerSlam, and Brock had put Triple H in a Kimura and broke his arm. And so it was like, I don't know if he did it for realsies or not. And then he did the same thing with Shawn Michaels. So, yeah, Triple H eventually cut his hair off and became the CEO like he is now. But then this match happened, and that was really good, no holds barred. And they pulled out all the stops. But, you know, Triple H got his redemption and beat Brock Lesnar, I think putting him in the Kimura lock. And, yeah, it was a good show. No, it was actually painful. He tried to put him in a Kimura lock. But, anyhow, this match was good. And I do love no holds barred matches, hardcore matches, which those are rare, but yeah, this was fun. I think Shawn Michaels even got involved, hitting the sweet chin music on Brock Lesnar. Match for the WWE title. Obviously, you have John Cena, Rock 2. And I was just like, really? Because WrestleMania 28, you have the fucking once in a lifetime thing, and now you're doing this. So you really contradicted yourself there. This was an okay match. I mean, watching the Rivals episode on A&E recently, and it was like, you know, there was a lot of misunderstanding on John's part. So I was like, if he would have handled it differently, that would have been cool. But they did still have this match, and yeah, this was for the title. And so this was cool. You know, John Cena ended up going over, obviously becoming the WWE champion. He did psych out The Rock with pretending to do the people's elbow, and then The Rock got up, and of course John had himself on the ropes, not getting into the rock bottom or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah, that was what it was. So, yeah. They exchange words, you know, they go up into the aisle. The Rock holds up John's hand, a la Hogan with WrestleMania 18. And yeah, so, you know, they have a new respect for each other, which they did after WrestleMania 28. So this was completely different. But like I said, I think if they were going to have the match in New Jersey, they should have had another arena. But I can understand the Mets arena or stadium was very cool. And it was. It really was. It's just, I guess I didn't know about tradition, thinking that it was going to be at Madison Square Garden the next year. No offense to people in New Orleans, but I think that, you know, that was a good show too. But anyways, so that was my WrestleMania series this year. I thought it would have been different, but obviously wasn't, so whatever. Anyways, yeah, you know what, if I do another one or so as a bonus, who knows. But for now, we'll see. WrestleMania 39 is coming up, and obviously you've got Sacrifice for Impact, so we'll see about that. But who knows? Like, who really knows? Anyways, yep, talk to you later. Bye.
So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming. But, you know, I think that there's this myth out there that Jamie Keller
Gnarly.
that's why he took pleasure in cutting WCW. I don't think that's the case at all. Because if you look at some of his earlier interviews, like